Good morning, all. In the last lecture, we did discuss about pay structure and the factors affecting pay structure. About pay structure, we did discuss that pay structure, also called a salary structure, refers to the various levels of pay that exist with different categories of job. And the main objective of developing a pay structure is to achieve an effective differentiation based on the knowledge, abilities, skills, performance, and productivity related to a job of the employees. We looked into various factors to be considered for a sound pay structure, which included alignment of business objectives with our needs, internal equity, external equity, reward for desired performance and behavior, legal compliance, reconciling the individual interest with the uh, interest of the organization. In this lecture, we would be looking at designing the compensation system. All those factors that are included in designing of a proper compensation system. And that includes analysis of job, evaluation aspects, developing a proper pay structure, survey of wages and salary, pricing of the job, compensation revision and control. All these factors go into ensuring a proper compensation system. The main objective of compensation management is to compensate the employees satisfactorily. That is the basic need for designing a compensation system. The basic objective behind the compensation system to compensate the employees satisfactorily so as to ensure that the organizational goals are met effectively. Designing a compensation system consists of the points that we see on screen, and amongst them, the first one is analysis of the job. The first step is to analyze the job. An essential requirement, you're looking at the nature of the job, and this step is considered to be essential to determine the details of each job. You're looking at the duties, responsibilities of the job, accountability factor. You're looking at each aspects of a job. Job description is used as a base for identifying and studying the characteristics of a job. You're identifying, you're understanding, you're analyzing various characteristics of a job as a part of developmental measures of compensation. Aspects related to development of compensation. You'll study various aspects of a job. You'll study all those details which include the duties, responsibilities, accountabilities. You'll take all those topics into consideration, understand them, analyze those aspects, and then put it into use while designing a compensation system. Then we have the second point, that is evaluation of job. After analyzing the job on the basis of job description, we have analyzed that job, we have understood the nature of the job. Then after that, the second step is to analyze the real worth of the job. A suitable job evaluation technique, a proper job evaluation technique is used to ensure the internal equity in the jobs, determining the structure of compensation for different jobs. We'll make use of a suitable job evaluation technique here to ensure that there is internal equity while deciding the structure of compensation for different jobs. Job evaluation is done on various bases. You have various factors that you use on the basis of the details of the job responsibilities, like skills, knowledge required, methods, wherein factor comparison, point ranking, grading of the job ranking, all these factors could be used for evaluation methods. Then we have developing a pay structure. The pay structure is something which determines how much an individual is paid. What exactly is the individual paid? Once the internal relationship among jobs based on the relative worth is determined, the pay structure, the pay grades is determined. So what happens is first, there is analysis of job. You understand various aspects of the job, various aspects relating to the nature of the job, what is the job, duties related to it, responsibilities related to it, who will be held accountable, would be taken up, the analysis of job would be done. Then the second step, wherein you're evaluating it, you're ensuring that internal equity is maintained. Then you draw up the structure of compensation based on various responsibilities, skill level required, knowledge required, and so on. You might even use various techniques for evaluation, like point ranking, job grading, factor comparison, and so on. After that, we have developing the pay structure, wherein you determine what exactly is an individual paid, how much is an individual paid. And this is possible once the internal relationship between job base on the relative worth is determined. Then we can draw up the pay structure and pay grades. The organization here can opt for narrow based or broad based pay structure. It depends on the organization. Then we have survey of wages and salaries, wherein the organization conducts a survey of wages and salaries in the labor market to collect information about compensation provided by other organizations for similar jobs. Now, this is something that most of the organization in today's competitive times do. Times have changed. It is getting very competitive in nature. The market competition is high today. So every organization tries to ensure that it is paying their employees as per the existing market norms. So what it does is a small comparison so as to ensure and collect information about the compensation of other organizations for similar jobs. It'll compare. It knows what is it paying to the employees, and now it compares itself with other organizations. How much do they pay for the similar nature of the jobs? Because on the part of the employees, if they feel they are being paid more in this organization as compared to others, when you look at other organizations and you find out that the other organization pays more to its employees as compared to you for a similar job, the employees might feel demotivated. But on the other hand, if you feel that your organization pays you more than the other organization for the similar kind of job, it motivates the employee. The primary goal is to conduct a salary survey to ensure external equity while determining the pay scales of the employee. The organization may also gather more information related to current wages for jobs in market, about inflation and cost of living. Now, these are factors that affect the employees a lot. You need to understand, you need to know about the concept of inflation, wherein the price of all the things go up. When the price of other things go up, it does impact you. It impacts your purchasing power. So that is the reason that the organization may gather information related to inflation It may also gather information related to costs of living. Definitely, when inflation happens, your purchasing power goes down, the cost of living goes up. There are two options in salary survey. They may either conduct their own survey to know the trend in labor market, or buy survey results from professional agencies. You could go ahead and collect the information yourself, or you could depend on certain professional agencies. There are various agencies that help you out with data collection part. So the options available in front of you is either do it yourself, or you could approach various professional agencies who could help you out in a systematic manner. But it is always advisable that if so, the best part would be to collect the information yourself. Because in this particular scenario, when you're collecting the information yourself, you get a first-hand feel of the various trends in labor market. Next is pricing of job. Job pricing refers to determination of wage rates for jobs within the organization. This could be on the base of job evaluation and salary survey. Pricing of the job or job pricing, which we call, refers to determination of wage rates for jobs within the organization on the basis of job evaluation and salary survey. As a part of this, what we do is the internal worth of job is matched with the external worth of the job to determine the price. Here, we compare the internal worth of the job to the external worth, and we come out with the price. While finalizing the compensation for jobs, the guiding principle that we should be normally be focusing on is pay the job and reward the person. You have a job which is done, you have a person who has done the job, pay for the job, and reward the person who has done it. Paying the job means payment of the right wages for the job depending on its worth. What we are doing over here is ensuring that we are paying the right wages, ensuring that you're making the right amount of, you're giving the person his due, you're paying the right wages depending on its worth, while rewarding the person is rewarding the individual for his efficiency, his contribution, the amount of dedication that he has put in. That's something that is measured to various performance evaluation tools. Both things put together. On the first hand, you're ensuring that you're giving the right amount of payment, that is wages. You're giving the work its due based on the worth of the job. And then when you reward the person, it stands for rewarding the individual for his efficiency and dedication. Then we have compensation, revision, and control. An employee's compensation forms a major part of the total operating expense, the amount that we pay to the employee. It's a major chunk of the total operating expense that we have for the organization. There should be a proper mechanism to monitor the labor market effectively. We should have a proper mechanism wherein we are able to measure it. These were the factors that affect designing the proper compensation system. But if you look at the compensation scenario in India, what has happened with regards to compensation scenario in India over the years? As per the salaries survey that we have in India for several years, we have normally observed that the employee compensation is not considered as a major issue in spite of the cost and its added value. Some parameters considered in designing compensation are internal equity, industry trend, retention, organizational performance, market conditions, employee performance, government compliances, whether we follow the rules and regulations related to the laid down by the government. Employee compensation around the world operates within the framework of legislations. There are several rules and regulations that have been made down. There are laws laid, several factors included. You need to ensure that while the concept of compensation, it should operate within the legal framework. Compensation is an essential element. You need to pay the compensation fairly. It is an important part of decent work as defined by the International Labor Organization. You should pay the employees the right wages. The compensation structure should be a fair one. In India, various legislations influence the structure of compensation. It determines how compensation is computed and with regards to payment of compensation. In the wage sector, only non-managerial level of employees and workers of the informal sector of the Indian economy are covered by wage legislation. Wage legislations are central acts, but even with regards to state government, they do have the freedom to make changes, but that should be done without disturbing the essence of state legislation. These legislations cover retirement benefits, bonus payments, social security benefits. We have various acts related to it, like, for example, we have the Payment of Wages Act 1936. We have Equal Remuneration Act 1976, Minimum Wages Act 1948. In case of government employees, we see that normally the salary is fixed on the recommendations of Pay Commission, which is later accepted by the central government. The states are free to adopt different structures, but the state government follows the pattern of the central government normally. To determine the salary of various occupational groups, the government has constituted wage boards so as to ensure that fair wages are paid. The working journalists and newspaper employees and other miscellaneous provisions act. We have non-statutory boards. All these things are set up. Salaries of top management of the organization are also affected by the Companies Act. This was a small discussion with regards to compensation scenarios in India. So let's just have a discussion on the important topics that we discussed. We discussed on starting over here. We discussed on issues with regards to benefits of compensation system, wherein we focused on general benefits of compensation plan. This was with regards to employment security, extra pay for time worked. Then we had a look at the various aspects related to the Employee State Insurance Act, providing security to the employee, which had certain benefits like sickness benefit, maternity benefits, disablement, whether permanent or temporary, dependent benefit, medical benefit, We focus on welfare facilities, wherein canteen facilities, consumer societies, cooperative credit society, housing facilities, legal aid, all those concepts were discussed. Employee counseling was discussed, welfare organization and welfare offices, holiday homes, educational facilities, and transportation. Then we started with pay structure, the concept of pay structure. We discussed why a pay structure helps to determine the promotion of employees and also with regards to succession plan in the organization to ensure that there exists smooth working within a organization. On the basis of compensation policy and philosophy, the organization has to decide the type of pay structure that it could use. The main objective while going for a pay structure is to develop a pay structure in accordance to the knowledge, abilities, skills, the commitment levels, the performance given by the employees on the basis of productivity of the employees. We need to ensure that while we frame a proper pay structure, all those factors are taken into consideration, and we are framing a proper pay structure based of the job evaluation report that we have without any bias, based on the skills, abilities, commitment, performance, knowledge levels of the employees, and based on the conditions prevailing in the labor market. Pay structure indicates the rate of pay for different jobs. It does normally contain pay range for jobs that are grouped into various grades, individual jobs, or whether it is grouped in nature. It also provides a pay progression through pay competence, contribution, skill levels, or service. It establishes logic and design framework, a proper framework, which you could feel is equitable, consistent, fair. It fairly rewards policies, and all these can be implemented. Now, we're almost done for this particular chapter. In the next lecture, we'll focus on various aspects of compensation models, because when compensation is used as a tool, like we discussed earlier, we have various compensation tools, wherein the main objective of designing a compensation tool is to produce an equitable pay system, something that would allow the firm to attract, retain, and motivate the workers while controlling on the cost of labor. We have discussed compensation tools, wherein we saw job-based compensation plan and skill-based compensation plan, wherein we had seen that a job-based compensation plan, it works on the principle that the work is normally done by people who are paid to do the job, and we had skill-based compensation plan, wherein skills are used as a basis of pay. In the likewise manner, we had various compensation tools. So in the next lecture, we'll be focusing on various compensation models. You have distributive justice model, labor market model, and balancing equity model. I'll just give you a brief summary of what the things is. In distributive justice model, what we do is model of pay equity. The employees exchange their contribution, such as skills, effort, and time, for a set of outcomes. Pay is the most important of these outcomes, and also non-monetary rewards are considered within the justice model. With labor market model, the wage rate of any occupation is a set of points where the supply of labor is equal to the demand of labor in marketplace. The lesser the employee is willing to pay, and the lower pay for workers are willing to accept for a given job, the lower will be the wage rate of the job. The lesser the employer is willing to pay and lower the pay workers are willing to accept for a given job, the lower will be the wage rate for that job. Then we have balancing equity model, wherein a firm should try to establish a balance between external and internal equity. I've just given you a brief summary of the three models. We'll be discussing the three models in detail in the next lecture. We'll be taking up all those three models one by one, and probably one more lecture, and this chapter would be done. After that, I'll be sharing all the PPTs with you guys. And like we discussed, as soon as we finish the chapter, I'll be having a revision lecture. I'll be sharing the PPTs. Recordings are done on a normal daily basis. So once I share the PPTs, I'll be giving you the scan notes for that. And after that, like we discussed, we'll have a small test for this particular chapter. MCQ based test based on Google Forms, just to ensure that the concepts are clear to you. So that is it for today's lecture. We discussed pay structure and factors to be considered for a sound pay structure, and also an effective compensation system designing. We'll stop here for this particular lecture and continue in the next lecture.